Must be nice to have the freedom to do whatever you want, unlike some of us. After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me. Do you know those one-line statements that just really sting? They leave this icky feeling in your heart. And these comments make you wonder, is this person a narcissist? Or are they just a jerk? Did they just have a mean moment? Or are they really a bad person? So you might hear from a partner something like, must be nice to have the freedom to do whatever you want, unlike some of us. Is this a passive aggressive guilt trip? Or is it just a moment of feeling overwhelmed in their world? But why does it feel so pointed? How about from a coworker? I just assumed you'd drop the ball. Glad to see that you proved me wrong this time. Is this a compliment that just came out wrong? Or is this purposeful undermining? From a parent, after everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me? Is this emotional blackmail? Or is it just, the old school martyr complex? From a friend, you've really changed, but not in a good way. Is this honest feedback? Or is it a control tactic to keep you small? From a stranger on a date, you seem high maintenance. I bet you're used to getting your way. Is this a playful jab? Or is it a red flag for future criticism and control? You see, this can be really hard to figure out sometimes. Each of these could be a one-time jerk moment. They could even be a one-time sarcastic remark that didn't come out well. Each of these could be a moment of just having a bad day or saying something that they could have said better. Or each of these could be the tip of a much deeper narcissistic dynamic. A small glimpse of a lifetime of gaslighting, manipulation, and passive aggressiveness. Narcissism lies in the pattern, the repeated cycle of dismissive and manipulative behavior with this learned good behavior in pursuit of your attention or your sympathy. It lies in the flippancy of a half-hearted apology followed by excuses and blame throwing. Today, we're diving into one of the most common and one of the most confusing questions that I get from listeners and clients and even my own friends and family members. Are they a covert narcissist? Or are they just being a jerk? And how do you tell the difference? Well, here's the deal. Not every rude or self-centered person is a covert narcissist. But when the behavior is persistent, when it's manipulative, emotionally destabilizing, when it leaves you feeling invisible, crazy, or guilty for simply having needs, especially when there is no recognition of this on their part. Even when you speak up, when you try to resolve conflict with them, when you try to voice your feelings, that's when a lot of that starts to show up. And that's why we need to look a little bit deeper. So I'm going to walk you through some real examples, stories that I've heard with details changed for privacy, and I'll break down whether I see narcissistic patterns or just human imperfection. So let's get into it. All right, example number 1. I call this the birthday guilt trip. Lily planned a birthday dinner with her 2 best friends, and her partner, James, he seemed fine with it until she got home. She was met with cold silence. And I think you know what I'm talking about. His words were short. His body language screamed of anger and hurt. And when she asked what was wrong, at first he blew her off and like, I'm fine. I'm fine. You know how that goes. But finally he sighed and he said, it's just funny how you have energy for them, but not for me. I guess I'm just not as important. He refused to talk the rest of the night, acting quite cold and very distant to her, no matter what she said or no matter what she did. No matter how many times she apologized or tried to give him attention, he maintained his righteous anger and cold distance. Narcissist or jerk? So here's the breakdown. Is he just being a jerk? Sure, he is being a jerk. But there's more to it than that. This is covert narcissistic behavior. Why? Because a jerk might say something rude and move on. Yes, he might have a moment of sharp words expressing his feelings in a harsh way, but a covert narcissist punishes you. They punish you emotionally, and they punish you within the relationship. This isn't a one moment, a one rude statement, and then we move on. No, this is a punishing behavior, and it can go on for hours, even for days. They use the situation to make you feel bad, and they continue using it to make you feel bad for having a life outside of them or for enjoying any time with anyone that's not them. This is not just a one-time emotional moment. It is a patterned tactic, indirect guilt tripping, passive-aggressive withdrawal, and emotional punishment for your act of independence. Example number 2, the backhanded compliment. And this one is a boss scenario. So Marcus's boss often says things like, "Wow, you actually did a good job this time." Or, "Well, I didn't expect that from you. Pleasant surprise." Now, Marcus feels uneasy about this. He isn't sure if he's just being too sensitive here. See, is this boss a narcissist or just a jerk? Well, I'm going to say here that this is typical of a classic jerk. Maybe even a power-hungry manager with a bad sense of humor, but not necessarily a covert narcissist. You might respond, to this boss with something like, "Hey, I worked really hard on this. Now see what direction this goes." If they continue with, "Well, it's about time. What took so long?" Or, "Can't you take a joke?" Or anything along that line, then maybe we are crossing into the realm of covert narcissism, because again, it's a pattern. They won't let it go. It just goes deeper and deeper. But if they shift into, "Hey, I am really proud of you," or, "Thanks for putting in so much effort," then I'm going to stick with, "This was just a jerk moment." Covert narcissists play a long game. They don't let things go. They don't shift all of a sudden into validating you. They don't all of a sudden see you for who you are and have a moment of give. They will ride their rude and inappropriate comments into the ground. Now, if this same boss also gossiped behind Marcus's back, sabotaged his growth, or played, favorites while gaslighting Marcus about it, then again, we would be on that narcissism alert. Example 3, the too sensitive partner. Elena tells her partner that she feels dismissed when he interrupts her. And he responds with, "Geez, I can't say anything around you. You're always so sensitive." Now, this happens often. When she brings up how something hurt her, it turns into his pain. Narcissist or a jerk? I'm going to tell you right now, this is a huge red flag for narcissism and a huge red flag for covert narcissism. Why? Because every time Elena expresses a feeling, the conversation gets hijacked. It gets flipped. He becomes the victim, and she's now the problem. Have you ever noticed how that happens? You come in expressing how you are hurt, which, means you should be the one getting your feelings heard, and it gets flipped. It gets flipped to where now you're the problem and they're the victim. This is emotional invalidation paired with role reversal, and these are key components of a covert narcissist toolkit. A jerk might roll their eyes, or they might, have a moment of defensiveness. They might try to justify their behavior, or they might try to make excuses. But the covert narcissist goes further than that. They weaponize your empathy. They manipulate the emotional tone of the conversation to stay on top without ever directly attacking you. Example 4, the rude roommate. Darren's roommate leaves dishes in the sink, eats Darren's food, and plays loud music late at night. When Darren confronts him about it, he just shrugs and says, "You're so uptight. It's not that big of a deal." Narcissism or jerk? Well, this is not covert narcissism. To be honest, this is just selfish, inconsiderate jerk behavior. There's no mask. There's no manipulation. There's no passive aggressiveness about this. There's no emotional unraveling. It's all right there on the surface. The behavior's annoying. Yes, absolutely. Is it okay? No, it's not. But it's not strategic or psychologically destabilizing. You can set boundaries here. You may not get an apology, but you also won't be gaslit into believing that you're the problem, that it's your fault the dishes are dirty, because you forgot to buy soap or something, or that you made them eat your food, or that they are only playing the loud music to drown out the sound of you, like, breathing. If you weren't so loud, they wouldn't have the music so loud. So that's on you. That type of gaslighting is not what I see in these comment of you're so uptight, it's not that big of a deal. Now, again, in order to really understand this, you got to have a bigger picture than just one comment. Example number 5, the never wrong parent. Every time Jenna brings up something hurtful that her mother said while she was growing up, her mom says, I don't remember that. I think you're misinterpreting it. That's not something I would say. Or, I was doing my best. You weren't the easiest child to parent. You should be grateful that I didn't leave. Narcissism or jerk? This is deeply painful when you go through these types of conversations with your parents. And yes, this can be covert narcissism, especially if it's a consistent pattern. Do you see where I'm going here? The jerk moments are moments, yes, but narcissism is a repeated pattern. This would be a pattern where the parent refuses accountability, rewrites history, and places blame on you, the child, for having emotional needs. Just a bad parenting moment? Well, that would sound something like, I sure don't remember saying that, but I'm not perfect. I have no doubt that that would have hurt. I'm sorry. I don't feel that way now. This would have been a bad parenting moment in their past, and they're able to take some ownership of it now. While they may not remember the event like you do, they don't invalidate your feelings. They don't dismiss what you're saying. There's an acknowledgement of your feelings and your perceptions, and there's a space for your pain and some accountability on their part, even if they don't remember it. Covert narcissistic parents, they don't do those things. They often play the martyr. They often have to suffer so much in being your parent. They focus on their feelings and how hard it was for them when you're the one bringing up things about your childhood. They twist conversations so that the adult child, you, feel guilty for wanting healing and for even wanting reconciliation. It's not just being defensive, it's erasing your reality and demanding gratitude in return. This is an environment where it is impossible to reconcile, to resolve conflict. That inability to resolve conflict is anchored in covert narcissism. So here's what I want you to remember. Sure, a jerk may act selfish and rude and without consideration, but it's usually out in the open. It's not calculated to undermine your reality or strip away your identity. A covert narcissist, on the other hand, they make you doubt yourself. They don't yell necessarily, they manipulate. They don't take ownership, they play the victim. And you walk away from every disagreement wondering if you are crazy. So if you're feeling confused, constantly off balance, and guilty for having basic needs, it may be time to look a little deeper. I want to take 1 minute here and say, okay, so what if this is just someone being a jerk? What if you're not sure that it's covert narcissism? Does that magically make all of this okay? No. Call it what you want. Doesn't matter to me. This type of behavior is not okay. It's not okay to be rude and disrespectful and invalidating and dismissive of someone. It's just not okay in our world. At the end of the day, whether someone is a covert narcissist or not doesn't matter. Focus on how they're treating you. Focus on how you feel in this relationship. Focus on the genuine connection that's either there or it's not. Because abuse is abuse, and abuse is wrong. It helps so much to talk through your experiences with someone who gets it, someone who understands what you have been through, who can relate because they lived the same stories. My group coaching sessions provide the perfect environment for this. Sharing your story with others and hearing their story that so closely relates to yours. I cannot even begin to explain to you the power of that environment and how much this changes one's perspective, how much it helps you on that healing journey. If you are carrying the perspective that you are seeing this all wrong, that you are misunderstanding or not remembering things correctly, that you can get communication right with everyone else, but not with this one person, then you need to reach out and talk to people who understand that. If you believe that no one else gets it, that you are the only one living this way, that it is impossible to explain to anyone else, then this group is created just for you. You do not need to go through this alone. It is incredibly empowering and healing to connect with others who understand this. I have space available right now, so go to my website at covertnarcissism.com. These slots are waiting just for you. I wish you so much peace on your journey of healing. The information provided by Renee Swanson, Covert Narcissism Podcast, and CNG Life Coaching is for educational purposes only and is not to be used for diagnosis purposes. It is not intended to be a substitute for clinical care. Please consult a health care provider for guidance specific to your case. This material discusses narcissism in general. Renee shares stories from her personal experience as well as from those she has talked with for several years. Her material does not claim that any specific person has narcissism and should not be used to refer to any specific person as having narcissism. Permission is not granted to link to or repost this material to support any allegation or claim that any specific person is a narcissist. That would be an unauthorized misuse of the material and information provided.